Good morning and welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today. As always, it's a sunny, beautiful, looks like it's going to be a beautiful day in St. Louis, Missouri today. Like and subscribe, and today's topic is going to be, according to your faith or belief, it is done to you. Now, what do I mean by that? People don't believe what they see so much as they see what they believe. We have what is called a reticular activating system within our brains, our minds, and it cancels out anything that's not relevant to what we need to see. Have you ever bought a car, or a friend of yours bought a car? They bought a red, let's say a red Impala. I don't know if they make red Impala. Let's say a gray Impala. I think the Impalas now are gray. Now, after your friend got that car, all of a sudden you started seeing those cars everywhere, but you didn't see them before. Now, were they there before? Or did everybody just all of a sudden buy gray Impalas? No, they were always there, but they weren't relevant to you, so you never noticed them. Your mind shuts it off because your subconscious mind takes in billions of bits of information every day. If you consciously recognize that or observe that or consciously knew it was coming in, it would overwhelm you. You couldn't function. So your subconscious mind shuts out everything that's not relevant. For example, right now you're listening to me. There are many other sounds and things going on in your environment that you're not noticing, but your subconscious mind doesn't miss anything. So it's the same way. When you have a certain belief, the reason I brought this up is because there were two people posting, and one of the men was saying that all women want to level up. They're ruthless. They just want to get with a guy that's got the best thing, and no matter how much you love them, or this is not verbatim, but basically what he's saying, that all women are going to level up. That you can be with her for 2 or 3 years, but if she finds another guy she thinks is better than you, she's going to dump you and move on to him. Okay, there is some truth in that. Now the other guy said, no, all women aren't like that. There are good women out there. He agreed that some women are like that, but there's other women that aren't like that. So they were bantering back and forth. Now here's the deal. The man who thinks women are like that, he's going to find evidence to support his beliefs, and he's going to negate, or his subconscious mind will negate anything contrary to the evidence that supports his beliefs. So in his world, this is true. He's not lying. He's not closed-minded. I mean, you could say he's closed-minded, but he believes this is true, and he sees only things that happen that support his belief. Now, the other man has a different belief. So he sees variables. He sees that all women aren't like this. So his beliefs are supported by the evidence out in the world that he sees. And he sees other evidence because he has other beliefs. Excuse me. So in this world, everyone gets to be right. I'll give you another example. This current health crisis situation, which I won't mention because there's guidelines on YouTube that I must follow, okay? Some people believe this is the most terrible thing that's ever happened. I am not one of those people who believe that, okay? So I don't see any evidence supporting that it is what they say it is, okay? I don't see it. Now, does that mean I'm right and they're wrong? No, it doesn't, because the people that believe it is a terrible thing going on, that so many people are suffering from it, they see evidence to support that, and their mind negates out any evidence that says something to the contrary. So some people would look at me and think that I was maybe selfish or crazy for not following along with the guidelines. And then people like me may look at these other people and think, why can't they see? Why can't they look at the numbers and see the small percentage? Okay, so that's the way that goes. Does that mean they're wrong and I'm right? Or I'm right and they're wrong? No, we each see different things, and the world appears according to our beliefs. And these people that believe this thing has been so terrible, if they would happen to contact the thing that would make them feel bad. Um, they would have a better chance of actually suffering more from it because their belief is so strong. You know, in medicine, they do what they call a placebo test. Okay, they give, let's say, 50 people a sugar pill, and they give 50 other people the actual medicine. And in these tests, it's like 40% of the people that got the placebo showed showed the same, or showed improvement the same as the people that got the medicine. So is it the medicine that helps? I'm sure that's part of it, but it's the belief in the medicine that helps. It's their belief. And so in this case, with the health situation, a person that believes it's bad, if he happened to contract it, he's more than likely going to suffer much more than a person who doesn't believe it's anything worse than a cold. That's just according to your faith or your belief. It is done to you. We each live in a world of our own making, from our own beliefs. I know some of you might find that hard to believe, but if you can objectively look at your thinking and look at your life and the things that happen to you in your life, and take the word blame out of your vocabulary, because what we do so many times is we blame people for all these things that happen to us. Oh, well, that guy robbed me. Okay, what part did you play in that? I remember I got robbed in Guatemala one time. Four guys jumped out of a car with guns, and they got me quick. Okay, I had other people try to rob me other times, but I was able to fight my way out of it. But they didn't get the gun on me, so I have had guns pulled on me two or three times in my life. Okay, and I pulled a gun on somebody once too, so I can't be saying that. But the point is, when I lived there, I believed it was dangerous, and I think it is. Okay, so I was constantly on my guard for someone trying to assault me or rob me, which is probably a good idea in countries like that. But did I create that situation? I probably did. Here's what I did. Looking back, my brother-in-law was walking with me, and I was doing some construction down there, so I was carrying quite a bit of money in terms of their money down there. Up here wouldn't be much money, but down there was quite a bit. And he knew I always had this money. So what I think happened was he told some of his friends to hold us up, because he knew where we were going to be. Now, see, I created that situation subconsciously because I believed it was dangerous. I believed that every day I was out there was a chance I was going to get robbed, and thus it happened. But now if I just blame the robbers and I don't look within myself, how did I create this? Or how could it possibly be that I created this? Then I never see what part I played in it. We must take the other person out of the situation completely. And that's hard to do when you get pissed off, or you feel like somebody really took advantage of you, or somebody you loved has crapped on you or cheated on you or lied to you. You have to see how you created that. I know the last 3 or 4 women. The last woman I went out with, I'm not sure if she cheated on me or not. I believe she probably did. Okay, but what I have to look at is, how did I bring this about? Some people will say, oh, you just picked the wrong woman. Well, some people, and I've done this, continue to pick the wrong woman because of your inherent subconscious beliefs. Now, there's a part of me, and sometimes we don't consciously know this, that believe that women will cheat on you. That if you treat women too good, they'll cheat on you. So what did I do? I treated her too good. Okay, and a lot of women will say, oh, you can't treat somebody too good. Yes, you can, because I have a tendency, when someone treats me well, I want to treat them even better. And at least what I believe, and I've brought to manifest in my life, is when I treat them better, they disrespect me. And they seem to think that I'm trying to buy them. But I don't do this to get the girl. This is what I do after I've already, either I'm married to them or they're my girlfriend. Then I want to bring happiness into their life. So if we're going out, and let's say she does something for me really nice, and I knew she wanted this expensive dress, I'll go buy it for her and surprise her. It makes me feel good. But it could just be that I've built this all up in my belief system. And it happens to me, see? So now I adjust my beliefs and try to do something a little different. Now, whether or not, maybe there's other men out there that could do exactly what I do and still maintain the respect and love of their woman because their belief system is different. But the good thing about your belief system is you can change it. Everything happens to you according to what you believe. What you believe. If you believe this world is a very dangerous, terrible, ugly, detrimental place, then that's what you're going to see in your experience. I don't read the newspapers. I look at the headlines sometimes. I shouldn't, but I do until they start bothering me. But I don't watch the news. I don't look at things like that. I stay the hell away from it because, first off, you don't know if it's true or not. And it's all negativity. I believe it should be called negativity instead of the news. That's your choice whether you watch it. I go into some clients' houses and I'll be working in there and they have CNN playing all day. It's rare. I can't stand it because it's just constant negativity about what you don't want. How many times have you watched the news and they played something that you wanted to have? Oh, this is great. I hope this happens to me. Not very often, okay? Usually it's, oh my God, that's terrible. I hope that doesn't happen, or I hope this doesn't happen to me, or I hope this doesn't happen to our country, or whatever it happens to be. Negativity sells because that's the wavelength that most people are on. Critical, negativity, and it doesn't get you anywhere. I've had to struggle with criticism or criticalness in my life. That's one thing I have to work on because I grew up and my mother was very critical. She loved me, but at least I perceived her as being critical. Maybe she wasn't. She was probably just trying to help me. I know I also grew up being told you shouldn't feel that way. Every time I got my feelings hurt, they would say you shouldn't feel that way. Now I took that as you shouldn't feel. So later on in life, I started drinking and doing drugs, and guess what? I didn't feel. But I think what they meant was they didn't want me to be hurt. So it's like, we didn't mean it that way. It isn't like that. So we don't want you to feel hurt because nobody intended to hurt you. It's even hard for me to explain now, but I took it another way. So that was my belief, and I developed a belief system from that. All your beliefs are something you picked up from somebody else. You didn't come into this world with them. We come into this world with only two fears. So they say, whoever the infamous they are, a fear of falling and a fear of loud noises. All the other fears you have, you've learned. They're learned fears, just like learned helplessness. And what are you allowing to be put into your head every day? They say, once again, the infamous they, whoever they are, the people that make statistics, that we're bombarded with about 5,000 messages a day. Now, consciously, you don't pick those up, but your subconscious mind doesn't miss anything. You have social media, you have news, you have the radio, all these advertisements, billboards, everywhere. Now, you're driving down the highway and you're looking at the highway. You don't consciously look at every one of these billboards, but your subconscious mind gets everything. These are all someone else's agenda. So do you want to be programmed with someone else's agenda, which is usually consume, consume, consume. Buy this, eat this, drink that, your life will be better. That's the message that comes from all these billboards, TVs, social media. Take my service and your life will be better. Program yourself with your own agenda. What do you want for your life? What do you want to see in the outer world? First, you must see it in the inner world, and you must affirm it in the inner world. Affirm it to yourself. Affirmations, visualization, imagination is what will get you to where you want to go. You don't have to know the how, but somehow or another, when you program your mind to what you want as if you already have it. For example, let's say you want a beautiful wife. Let's say that's what you want. You have to think about what it feels like to have a beautiful wife. Better not to think of a certain person because you don't know whether she would make a good wife or not. But think about the feeling, how you would feel. You could see yourself in a home with a wife and a children, the feeling of happiness, of love, of joy, of raising kids together. You have to feel this and see it in your mind's eye over and over and over again. And in a way you don't understand, the right person will be brought to you. Now, that doesn't mean the first person you see and you go out with is going to be the right person. Because as I said, you don't know the how or the way this is going to come to pass. But there will be bridges of incidences, things that will lead you to your desired goal. Now, you got to keep doubt and discouragement out of it. So when you feel like it's not going to happen, just believe and use your intellect to align it with the intelligence of the universe, or God if you like, and it will unfold for you. But you just have to believe in that power. I don't understand how it works. I know it works. I can look back on my whole life and see how I've created everything I've desired. But many times during the creation process, things looked horrible. For example, my last marriage and divorce, I lost all 6 of my kids. And that was after the divorce and the marriage before that. And I lost 2 kids there and couldn't see them. Were taken away from me. I ended up coming back to the U.S. by myself, not knowing if I were ever going to see my 6 kids again. But this was a process that needed to happen for me to be humbled enough, to be beat down, to be humiliated enough to come to my own end, to accept that there is a power and intelligence within me and in everything that can work out exactly what I want if I just get the hell out of the way and allow life to unfold. Keep the vision in my mind. The house I live in now, I had a vision for it back in 1998, and I started to build it up. Rock walls, statues, fountains, all of that, okay? And then I got into this relationship and got focused on how she was lying and cheating on me, and I ended up losing it. We divorced and I lost everything. That was in 98 or 99, I think we divorced, 98, 99. Okay, I forgot all about the house, but I had a strong vision, and it was about 7 years ago, which would have been 2000 and let's say 13, or let's go back to 2011. We would go to the park, and I would look at the house sometimes. It was bought by someone else years ago, and they were renting it out. It looked about the same as it did, kind of run down. Nobody did anything more to the walls. They were half done. They covered up the fountain pool, took the statues out. No, I didn't have any statues then. And I would just look at it and remember about it. And then by a strange occurrence of bridges of incidences, I was going to buy a trailer to live in because I was on welfare, and I was living in a 1976 trailer with my 6 kids, and my last ex-wife at the time had gone, and I was there with the 6 kids. So I was looking to buy a double-wide trailer. My mom was going to help me because I had been helping her take care of Dad for the last 4 years. So, and I couldn't work. Yeah, I worked a little bit, but I couldn't have a steady job because that was a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week job. Intermittently, I could work a few hours here and there. So, as I'm looking to buy this trailer, I happened to run into an old friend who had bought my house with a partner, and he wanted to get out of that. He had a lot of rental properties, but he didn't like it because he was in partners in this one. So I had no credit because I had been out of the country for 6 years. So I had no credit, didn't have bad credit, didn't have any credit. So the very house I lost, he sold it to me with a small down payment, and he floated the loan for me, or financed it for me for about 2 years till I could get a balloon, or he had a balloon note on it. And then 2 years I was able to get a loan and buy the house back. And several years later, I was able to finish the outside, all the rock walls. I uncovered the fountain and put a new statue in there. I bought new statues, and actually it looks more beautiful than I ever could have imagined before. And I was making it into a bed and breakfast when I lived here before, but I never got it open. Okay, and I did end up opening it up to, now we have Airbnb, and I had an Airbnb here for a while when I came back here. It was we had several guests, and then of course we had the COVID, so I shut it down. Now my daughter's living in the Airbnb room. So, but what I'm saying is I had the dream many years ago, and it still came to pass because it was a strong vision. Even though I hadn't thought much about it for years, it came to pass, the vision, in a way I could have never guessed. And now here I am with all 6 of my kids. My ex-wife is gone. She's been gone for 10 years. Back to her country. She doesn't bother us, and I've raised the kids. They're growing up now. Well, I got a 12-year-old boy still and a 14-year-old daughter, but the older boys, they all work for my company. And I sit there and watch them sometimes, and I'm thinking, look where I am today. Would I have ever guessed how this would have all played out? But I had to be beaten down because I had so much pride and arrogance and thinking I was going to do it. Yes, I have to do the footwork, but I don't do this. I didn't do all this. I could tell you stories about things that have happened to me, like my kids coming up here. 3 of them were born in another country. I didn't register them when they were born. I was told by the U.S. Embassy that I had to go there to register them. Well, at that time, I was taking care of my father, who I couldn't leave, so I couldn't register them because they were still there because I left them all there. Now, the other 3 were Americans. They had passports. But the 3 that were born there, I was told I had to go there. Well, I never went there, but I got them all up here. So how did that happen? I didn't make that happen, but I just did the next right thing. I did the footwork. I did what I was told to do, and then I let go. And now I have all my kids here today. So life is a wonderful thing, and as I tell people all the time, my biggest job is to get the hell out of the way. No, it's to set a vision. Every day, I have written goals. Every day, I review my goals. I speak them over and over again as if they're already happened, twice a day, sometimes more. I also have them on a tape. Before I go to bed at night, a tape. I'm an older guy, so, okay, I have them on a recording device. We used to listen to tapes, okay? I have them on a recording device. And before I go to bed at night, I play that. My goals, I speak them to myself as if they have already come to pass. And I visualize them as if they're already here, as if I'm living that. As Neville Goddard says, I don't think of, I think from the desire as if it's already fulfilled. And these things can work in your life, but you can't force it. You have to put the vision in there, do the affirmation, then let it go and do what's in front of you. Don't think about how you got to do it. Now, you need to make a plan, of course. That's a good idea. But plans are all subject to change. Just have that plan so you know what your next step is. But be aware that you may be steered to one direction or the other. But eventually you will get to your goal. And if you don't get to exactly what you want, I will guarantee you it will be something better than what you desire. If you don't force, if you don't push, if you don't use your self-will. That never works. Anything gained like that is temporary, and it's really on top of people. Well, you can really hurt some people or make some enemies along the way if you're trying to force your will, force something to happen instead of allowing it to happen. Allow it to happen within your imagination daily, over and over and over again. Think of it with joy and happiness, and it will come to pass. Okay? That's all I got for today. Thanks again for joining me. Share this with a friend if you think it will be of value to them. And tonight is the Saturday night podcast. I think we're going to talk about imagination. Every Saturday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, join Henry and I, and we will have something valuable for you. Have a great day.